Utility Commission.
We got to get Mr. Hall a nameplate.
There's a nameplate
He
on
doesn't plan on coming
Yes.
back.
Similarly to the horse with no name. Oh, yeah.
You should have seen the smile on Mr. Reinhardt's face when he wrangled me into this Monday.
It's probably the same smile I have when I send Quentin a formal notice that he will be at my place. So.
I believe I remember the statement, and I quote, "It would be a good experience for you."
Ooh, dangerous words.
Leadership, son. Leadership.
It's second only to you should do it for the experience.
At least you get paid.
All right, it is 8:31. I will call this meeting of the January 8th Utilities Commission to order. The clerk may call the roll.
Mr. Sayers,
Here.
Mr. Ball,
Present.
Mr. Reinhardt, Mr. Hall,
Present.
Ms. Busenberg. Here. Mr. Gann.
All right, we have a quorum present. We'll move on to minutes approval. Commission members, you have the minutes from the December 4th meeting available to you. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for the acceptance of the minutes.
Motion.
I will second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All right, minutes are approved. Moving on to new business. There is no new business, no adjustment journal, no nothing. Great, all right. Moving on to old business. We have the ever-present monkey on our back, the backflow and fog legislation discussion that WikiLeaks is 96% done.
That was just
That's a
Uninformed.
fictitious number.
uninformed
All right.
theory, but
Yeah, all right, well, we will,
I believe the staff were
with bated breath, we're waiting on that.
called to other matters, but I don't know for sure because
I'm sure everyone on the receiving end would be fine if we took our time on that.
Yes, let's just, we'll
Yeah.
take our time,
Yeah.
we'll get it right, and we'll get it implemented as it gets implemented.
All right, so moving on to another piece of old business, stormwater management plan. Last, Roran has arrived. Well, let's see, last month, we, well, maybe we're going back to our backflow and fog legislation discussion.
let's go back to the future.
Mr. Bourne, would you like to give us an update on the backflow and fog legislation?
We actually do have an update. I have completed the legislation. Mr. Platt did a very thorough initial part of it. I then went and edited and expanded it a little bit. It works off of our current code in chapter 911, and so without doing too much damage, but it adds shifts the permitting to code enforcement. It allows the control board to set the various fees and for that, as well as it reserves to the utility commission the ability to adopt additional rules consistent with this to enforce or to otherwise regulate it.
Okay. What we will do is allow this commission to take a look at this over the next month, let code enforcement and utilities and engineering take a look at this over the next month, and then look to February for a recommendation from this board onto council for a first reading for council, probably late February.
Do you want, should we basically put it out for public comment? Do you think it's good to, similar to, we don't have to do it the way we did
Yeah,
with stormwater, but we could we could post it.
Yeah, as long as it's posted on the website, not a formal public comment, but
Yeah.
yeah, that would be good. And maybe kind of draft a high-level summary of what's in here. That way they're not
All right.
trying to parse legalese.
Okay, so I told him you were 96% complete, but. I
Which
think
was lowballing it.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was saying, he glommed the wing in here and hit a home run. Look at
There
that.
you go, there you go. Totally redeem yourself, all right. Okay, moving on to stormwater management plan. Now, that one did have a 28-day comment period from the last commission meeting. So did we receive any communication or public comment from that?
My department has not. I don't know.
I'm aware of none.
None?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I hear tell of an addendum?
Well, the idea of this is that this would be, I could make the motion. Motion would be to make this guidance document formally an addendum to the stormwater rules and regulations.
I see.
So it's
Okay.
not changing the document. This would just become an attachment or an addendum to the existing rules.
Okay, you want to go ahead and, does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah. Okay, I would move to adopt the Stormwater Management Plan Guidance and Manual as an addendum to the Stormwater Utility Rules and Regulations of the City of Mount Vernon.
So we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? We have a second. Any discussion on the motion?
Basically, as everybody knows, we have a lot of development pressure, and the EPA is the ruler in this. This federal and state EPAs are the rules we have to follow, but within that, there are some preferences, a lot of, there's some vagueness, right? And this helps our developers. When they come here, we can basically point them to this document, or they can get it on the website and know what to expect, so that our record as a developer has applied 6 times for a stormwater permit. And this helps them understand where they need to go, what they need to do, what we are expecting to see in their submittals, and we're hoping that this will reduce the number of reviews and the number of delays as we process through developments to maybe better interpret our view of the EPA rules and make this process more transparent. And it kind of goes with our new tagline, build here, grow here. We want to have a roadmap on how to do that.
Okay. Any other discussion or comment? Oh, hearing none. Call for a vote. That's you.
Mr. Sires,
Yes.
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Ms. Bisenberg,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Seeing no other old business, we will move on to other. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on anything else pertaining to the Utilities Commission? Yes. If you'll state your name and address, please.
My name is Sarah Mankins. My address is 1419 Culbertson Drive. I am very nervous, so I apologize if I start speaking too fast or rambling. I'm going to start with 2 small personal stories, hopefully to shed some light on things that happen to people. So I became a homeowner in Knox County in 2013. Before that, I rented an apartment downtown from Mark Ramser. And I'm at my office one day, and Mark calls me. He says, "Hey, Sarah, it's Mark. I was just checking to see if you were going to pay rent." And I was like, "Yeah, of course. What day is it?" And he's like, "It's the 15th. And I was like, "Oh, I am so embarrassed. Okay. I will get my checkbook and I will come over to your office at noon and I will get this paid today. We will take care of this today." And he was like, "It's no problem." He's like, "I figured you just got busy, forgot, whatever." Fast forward, that was the day that I decided to put everything in my life on auto pay. I pay no bills by hand, unlike my husband who will not pay any bills electronically. I pay everything on auto pay because as that thing showed me more than 10 years ago, this is not like, I'm just not capable of managing it in a timely fashion, apparently, despite being a fairly organized person. So fast forward a decade, and I, am going through my morning process of deleting all of the many emails that I get, and there's one from the electric company, and it's showing that I have a owed amount that is like 3 times our normal bill. And so I begin to panic because I'm like, oh my gosh, either there's a problem in our house or there's a problem with the meter. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's a weird spike. Maybe there's a problem with one of our appliances. It's like causing this, right? So I call the electric company and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I think we need to have somebody come out. She's like, let me look. And she says to me, oh, no, it's 3 times the amount because you haven't paid your electric bill for 3 months. And I was like, what? She was like, I was like, it's on auto pay. And she was like, yeah, it says the payment like hasn't been working. I'm like, oh, that's right. I got a new credit card. And so this is like the one payment that didn't get updated. And so here I am 3 months behind. I give her the new credit card over the phone. We get everything taken care of. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. Like, thank you. Like, this is great. All taken care of. Before the end of the year, I get a call from a longtime family friend. Fast forward to this last 30 days, last 2 weeks. I get a call from a family friend that we need to get a water payment set up because they're going to be shut off on the 6th. And I am like, okay, well, for myself, I have auto pay. And it's like, yep, okay, so but there's a form, and I remember it's a process, and like, yeah, I think I had to like fax a copy of my driver's license, and it was all this stuff, and I was like, okay, well, let's figure out what the process is now. It's probably not the same. Yep, there's a form. We fill it out, we take it over, and we'll be good. So the family friend I'm helping is in Florida, so we fill it out. I email it to them as a PDF. They take it to a local place, get it printed, sign it, fax it back to me. I have my office staff bring it over to the water department on the 30th. We're feeling like we're so great. We are high-fiving each other. We got this accomplished for our friend. Like, even like between the holidays where things are crazy and chaotic and a lot of people are out, like we got all this stuff done, and we're so proud of ourselves. We get a call that the water was shut off, and I was a little bit frustrated, and maybe like the nice ladies at the water department did receive some of my frustration, and I apologize for that publicly. I was frustrated, and I'm sorry. And the nice ladies explained to me, like, well, this is what the form says, and I'm looking at the form, and I was like, well, that's really stupid. So the fact is that the form says that you can sign up for this payment, but it only processes on the 15th. So even if you owe money, you fill out the form and you do all of this gymnastics that we did to get it back and on file and updated. This person has been a victim of fraud and had to change a bunch of their banking and email and phone number and a bunch of other things all at once. Got this figured out, and I would have thought this, and they said, no, it only happens on the 15th, the form. And then it was turned around and explained to me in the many paragraphs of the form that which I'm sure exactly no one reads, by the way. I certainly didn't, and I would guess that most people, I read more than most people, so I'm guessing that no one would read it, that it says this only happens on the 15th. Now, when someone owes me money and they give me a form of payment, I try to get it right away. So I'm also thinking, like, from the city's perspective, I would think that the moment that they get a new form of payment, that they would use that payment, especially if it's 2 months behind and on the shut-off list. But that wasn't what happened, because that's not the policy, and the nice ladies were doing their job. But I was like, well, this is just a poor form. Then we just need to change the form. It wouldn't be that hard to change the language that says that, like, immediately upon receipt of this, like, this will happen. Or, as I was discussing with Mr. Ball, that this may be a vendor issue where the vendor will only do it and there's an additional cost if they can do it willy-nilly whenever, that this would feel, I'm not a lawyer like Mr. Boren, but I would think that a signed document saying that you can take payments from this form of payment would constitute a payment plan, and therefore the water would not be shut off. The other thing is that beyond that, another change in the policy, I get it that the policy was changed that water turn-ons don't happen for 24 hours regardless. And I would get that for like a group of like your, frequent flyers, right? Like your regular offenders. But for other folks, especially in extenuating circumstances, I know that we have more than 7,000 customers, but I would guess that there aren't that many that are shut off or delayed each month. I would think that once a payment's there, that you could probably get it turned on for people so that they can get their kids bathed and ready for school, so that they can take a shower when they come home from work. And I understand that everyone was doing their job and they were following the policies, and I just think that those policies probably need to change so that they can be more effective to serve the citizens of the city. And it wouldn't be that hard to do. The form already exists. It's already lengthy and verbose, so adding another line in there that says the moment that we input this, we can collect all back pay if there's not an alternative written payment plan. It seems like not that much of an ask, and this does happen to people, even normal organized people. I get it that there's your list of frequent flyers and that some of these policies were put into in place to deter those folks, but if you're not one of those folks who gets their water turned off 5 times a year, I would think that we could try to make that work for people. Thank you.
Mr. Polo, would you like to comment on anything that was said, or maybe just give context to maybe the vendor rules, or there are some constraints? Because even I'll add, it's kind of separate from what we do here, but in my time in the insurance world, there was some stipulation around setting up an automatic pay and receiving payment for premium that has some legal ramifications on the receipt of premium on the same day, and those are two separate transactions. So, and maybe on our end, it can be more clear that setting up an auto pay, which only happens on this date, is this thing versus back pay is this thing, right? So, but I think there's a kind of an amicable, workable solution somewhere here. So.
Sure, absolutely. It was brought to my attention, the situation, and I talked with Ms. Mankins, and what it is we are just trying to apply the policy set forth by this commission fairly and equally to everyone. Yep. We hear a lot of stories that tug at your heart, and, I would love to just, okay, we'll turn you on and we'll turn you on, but then how do I tell somebody else, we're not going to turn you on today, you have to wait till tomorrow? So, we're just trying to apply these policies equally to everyone across the board. The form, yeah, it is lengthy, but, we do have to try to cover bases to make sure that, everybody understands the policy, because unfortunately there's people, well, it doesn't say this in your form. And a lot of people will come in and just drop the form off. And I believe that's what happened in this case. The form was dropped off, but was not told, that, hey, this customer is behind, anything like that. And while the ACH form, to my understanding, it gives us permission to go ahead, withdraw on the 15th, as the form states, there's nothing in there saying that we can go back and take any past due funds on that date. And
if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
To Ms. Mankins' point here. Is that a stipulation or a restraint of our vendor, or is that a policy of the city that we could change?
As far as I know, it's something that, a policy of the city that we could change. It's just one of those things that we have set up to do on the 15th. And just so our customers know what to expect, we just keep the ACHs on the 15th. We,
Sure.
try again to just be consistent with our policies.
Right. So as we transition to, and I think this is a fine time to let folks know, we've been transitioning from permitting, asset management, different things, to a new system called OpenGov. Another piece of that is our water billing office software is also transitioning to OpenGov. And that way these things can communicate, they're more modern, they're not trying to communicate with things that are not built to communicate with one another.
Right.
And I think this would be a good time to look at that and, to your point, say, you know, I understand that a traditional bill would come out on the cycle of the 15th. That way I can set up my monthly budget to anticipate it coming out on the 15th, because we do have folks, more often than not really, that, you know, live and die by, every little penny is accounted for, and I need to know that it's coming out on the 15th, not on, you know, some rando date when I turned my form in. However, if there's a 2-month back pay that I submitted this for, and the water billing office, utility billing office anticipates the revenue that was already due, we're going to retrieve that now, and then moving forward, it's always gonna come out on the 15th. And if that's as simple as checking that box saying, I recognize that's what's about to happen, and I'm okay with it, or you didn't check that box, and, you know, it maybe shouldn't be as simple as drop the form off, take it out of here, you know. Then that falls more on the, you know, on the customer.
Right, I have a question. So
Yes,
if
sir.
a person goes to interchurch, they're about to have their water shut off, and then the interchurch sends you a pledge. Do you still shut their water off?
No, we don't. If it is, you know, brings them up to what they owe, we won't shut them off, no.
Okay, so you get a physical piece of paper, but you do not have the money on hand at that point.
No, we do not.
Okay. So I think there may be some dichotomies in the process that need to be sorted out. Because you received a physical piece of paper pledging payment, but you turned the water off.
Correct.
Is that what the form is?
It's a form of payment. ACH is a pledge for payment.
Correct, but without seeing the form, I know most forms that I've done for ACH commit you to paying in advance, not necessarily what it is that
Right.
you owe right in that moment. So it
And
very well could just
and
be a
it may
difference
be
in
an
what the form
issue with
authorizes.
the form, is that the form is designed, is a forward-looking form.
Right.
And people who owe money in the past, we may need something different from them to say, hey, take the money that I owe you in the past now, and then set this up going forward.
Yeah.
I think.
That sounds like an easy
Is
fix.
the only way for someone to make a payment for the past is to write a check?
Obviously, they can come into our office, pay by cash, check, or
Well, if
credit card.
someone's out of town though, like, there's no, like, option to go in and make like a one-time payment?
Oh, absolutely, they can do that. We
So
have
in
it set
this
up to pay by
case,
phone.
They
or-
could have paid, in this particular case, cash could have been rendered, a credit card could have been used, like,
Can you just
Yeah, check, and then
call
we,
over the phone with a credit card, or is there like I just have
We have a
autopay set up,
vendor.
so I don't know.
we have a vendor that you could call, and set up payment by phone, or you can go to, a site online that you can get to through the city portal, and go online and pay by, electronic check or
Okay,
credit
so
card
you
there.
can make like a one-time.
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
and you can
Okay.
even set up ACH, you know, in that,
Okay.
that portal as well.
so a litany of options were available to pay
Yes.
the bill at that time.
Yes,
This
the,
wouldn't have happened.
the customer in question was aware, probably mid-December that, you know, he was in danger of having the water shut off at the property. And he said he would get that taken care of. I am just speculating, and I might be wrong. It just seems when we talk to the customer, my staff talked to the customer, from my interpretation, he insinuated that in addition to the ACH form being brought in, that a payment was also being brought in. So, you know, I think some of this boils down to just a miscommunication as well.
That's 95% of problems everywhere.
Absolutely.
So, moving forward, I think we can look at, you know, the options with ACH, and even with ACH, when you're setting up an ACH, I mean, how many times in all forms of the business world have we set up an ACH and there are insufficient funds in said ACH?
Mhm.
So, just because an ACH exists does not necessarily mean that there's sufficient funds to fund said
Correct.
transaction. So, again, I think there's always a happy middle that, you know, point well taken.
Mhm.
That, you know, we can always be improving, so
Absolutely.
thank you for that. Thank you
All
for
right.
context, that's
Thank you.
important. And, live from New York, Saturday night. All right. Anything else that we need to take into consideration?
Can you give us an update on what's happening on the dike? Got some calls from some neighbors.
Yeah.
I know about the deforestation that's going on there.
Well, federal regulations require not to have woody plants growing out of flood control structures. So we have a continued effort. We obviously, thanks to the support of this commission, did our walnut sale that brought in $21,000, and the auditor has deposited those funds, and we have reinvested those immediately into clearing vegetation south of High Street. Part of the effort is to expose the large stash of tires that have been deposited on city property, and
Not recently.
not recent.
Not recent.
This is a long, long,
1940s engineering, right?
yeah, I don't know they were structurally part of it. So the next effort, we're gonna work with the Ohio EPA on, we have a program to round up the tires. So that's getting that cleared and working, the next step will be tire removal. What else did we do? We're working, the mayor, Tanner, and I sent a co-signed letter to, we found a person at FEMA. We sent a letter to join the community rating system. And if we have our floodplain management system rated, there is a point system. And as we get points, they will, through the process, help to lower folks' flood insurance. So if our program that we operate, the dike maintenance, the floodplain permitting, floodplain, and now that we have Scott to help with code enforcement in his department, then we should be able to get some points, and hopefully the goal is to try to get everyone a 5% reduction if we can get to the first round of sort of being rated as a floodplain. It's very similar, so with we talk about our stormwater program, we get graded. We have to turn in an annual report to the EPA every single year. We have 6 measures we're graded on. Theirs is more punitive and there's no reward, I don't think, right, Dave, from the EPA? You don't get a reward.
No.
Right, you've never gotten a reward. on your
I've
side.
never gotten a reward from
Yeah.
the EPA.
So the FEMA takes a little different
Not,
approach.
not even an attaboy?
Maybe an attaboy every now
Yeah,
and
you
then.
got that about, but no
But-
gold watches.
yeah, no,
any,
no.
yeah. So, right. So the idea is to help our citizens, not just on the west end. This is obviously there are some south and central folks in the floodplain. Our goal is the community rating system because that's something we can do without initiating a physical construction project. You know, I think a lot of folks, some people want a new dike, some don't. That is a long process, but an immediate thing that our staff, Mr. Johnson helped us give a presentation to council, so that's a big push. We're gonna work toward doing some survey work at the former American National Can. We don't own enough property to properly maintain the dike, so we're working on trying to acquire a strip of land to give us room to, because the fence is right up against the dike, and we can't keep the groundhogs and the vegetation out without handwork. So that's something we're working toward. But yeah, so the veg removal, we'll continue to work on that and get some good grass back and continue to study the floodplain aspects. next couple months.
Awesome. Thank you.
Questions?
Other questions?
Yeah, you got Dave
List
here,
out,
you
no.
can ask him any questions.
Self-scout. All right, well, if there are no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of adjourning this esteemed body, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
We are adjourned at 9 a.m.
Nice work.
Look at that. Not even
There,
a
I
full
can
30 minutes.
Add that to my class 4.
There
Hear
you
that,
go.
Bruce?
Experience. So are you working toward it?
I'm collecting information. I haven't started writing yet.